vibes. Welcome to the hot stuff vibes. Yes. How y'all doing this morning? Rise and shine, our beautiful souls. How y'all doing? I want to talk to y'all like Miss Rachel. How y'all doing, beautiful babies? As y'all can tell, I am up and live and well. Okay, I had already done my little 2 mile run. I've already committed to my cute little content. And right now, it was kind of funny because I feel like after all the tasks, I'm sorry, my hair looks a mess. Okay, if you see the top of this motherfucking head, it looks like a cute little bird's nest. And I don't want to confuse the nature. I don't want to confuse my people, right? I don't want them to come down here and use my hair as bird's nest. So we're gonna keep it real cutesy. I'm gonna do better next time. Okay, I might do a little bit more edge control. Okay, on the leave out. I don't know. I don't know. Right? But today, I kind of wanted to go live before I started my day because this is kind of like me committing to an episode, even if it's not an official episode or it's not how I perceive I want the podcast to look. I am going to go motherfucking live. I'm going to be consistent, even if it's me making a video offline or whatever. But I was like, you know what? Let me tap in with my people. I got to get better at this shit, okay? And maybe 2 weekends ago, I was playing on somebody else's live on their TikTok live. Never done TikTok live, but I was just on that. I was like, I didn't watch enough content. Let me give y'all some. Let me give y'all a show, right? So I was like, well, if I could do that for other motherfuckers, I could definitely do that for myself. So that's why we are here. How y'all doing? As y'all can see, besides the scenery right here, I gave y'all a beautiful scenery this time. At first, I had it turned the other way, but we looked at that, so you couldn't even see. And I was like, you know what? I got the melanin popped in. Me and the sun, we are aligned, and we are doing just fine, right? So I realized this morning, I woke up, got my shit together, got on the road, got to run club, did my content, and it was like as soon as I did everything that I like had on my little box, I guess today, or my little checklist of I need to get done, my ass literally got smacked with the reality of life that I felt like I'm in limbo. And I mean, I'm just gonna be a very much transparent. I don't feel like I got hot shit because like what's the point in that, right? But like I just kind of felt like after I did everything that was so fucking productive, normally, sometimes I procrastinate the things that I do. I'd never procrastinate run club because you really can't, but like creating content and all these other minute tasks, I will put to the fucking side. Major tasks like moving and figuring out like where is it that I want to be? Do I still want to be here? Is here really where I'm aligned? Following the yellow brick road of omens, right? I don't know how many of y'all have read The Alchemist. Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, Bev. Hey, Gonzalez. G. Gonzalez. How y'all doing? How y'all doing this morning? Let me know in the comments how y'all doing, because that's a real question. I know a lot of motherfuckers get on there. They be like, "Tell me how y'all doing in the comments." But I'm really mean that. Hey, tell me how you feeling. Like I see the highs, but tell me how you feeling. Tell me something, please. Because your girl over here, we in limbo. Hello, it looks Cezanne. So, I'm not gonna read the names, but hey, how you? Okay, hey, I'm glad that you're doing good. Are you really doing good, or is like you just kind of like I'm in homeostasis? Like ain't nothing wrong. I'm in homeostasis type vibes. Okay, let me get back into what I was saying. So I realized that after I did everything that was on my task list to get done, I just felt like the reality of life hit me because there was nothing for me to hide behind, especially behind all my to do lists. And normally I do rely on productivity to make me feel like I'm in an alignment. That's when I feel like I'm in alignment. But I realize sometimes those things could be distractions too, especially when your ass is trying to avoid that feeling of limbo. And I really, it's like, it feels like the void feeling, genuinely. And it was like, it wasn't a bad feeling, it wasn't a good feeling, but it was like such a awareness. Hey, Tampa. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? But no, like, so it smacked me like a motherfucking ton of bricks. And I was like, that's when that cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. Okay. It turned that real quick. And I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Reel it really, because I used to be one of the ones that would just let that shit slide. Like I would literally get my ass beat mentally. Nothing is going on in the physical, but I'd be getting my ass beat mentally. And today I was able to rein it in before I got to that. Let's say that. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I don't know if y'all can. Let me see. Okay, yeah, I'm probably on my headphones. But it smacked me like a ton of bricks, and instead of me suppressing it by trying to find something else to do, I said, let me sit at the park for a second and sit with my motherfucking self, sit with what's coming up, sit with what I can change, sit with what I can't. And I realized that in the midst of sitting, I feel like every decision that I make going further is going to be a ripple effect to the next thing. And I feel like I'm on the precipice of something. I don't know what that something is, and I ain't gonna even act like, yeah, like I'm on the precipice of greatness. I mean, I am. I mean, every day I wake up is greatness, right? But same thing for you. Same thing for you, right? But also, it was one of those like I feel like any decision I make could be a wrong decision because like once you get that 30-year-old frontal lobe, like you've been sitting with that frontal lobe for fucking 5 years now, right? Well, I'm 32, so I've been sitting with mine for a good seven. I've been sitting with my my frontal lobe for a good seven. But it's like I don't have this thing of like I didn't do anything that like I'm like I don't have any regrets because I definitely did everything I wanted to do. I also do have one of those like yeah we could have made better decisions, but then also I'm one of those like but did you really make the bad one? Did you really? Okay. But we're healing, we're growing, we're evolving, right? But then also I hit that motherfucking phase where it's like also what's next because I realized all the things that I genuinely wanted to do, even if it's not like on this grand scheme of fucking social media where it's like I could put my life of accomplishments, my life of growth and strengths into a motherfucking Instagram reel or a cute little YouTube short, right? Because we gotta recognize we gotta hype our people up, right? YouTube, right? I don't have the desire to try to put all of my accomplishments into one of those like cute scenic reels, but also I realized that everything that I used to want does not I don't really necessarily want that shit right now or anymore. I finally let that motherfucking hard worker is going to get me to where I want to go mindset die because I've also had so many motherfucking scenarios happen recently where I was just like, so y'all was feeding me bullshit when y'all said that as long as I work my motherfucking ass off, I can achieve everything I want. There's some things where I've received the best things that life could offer me in rest. Like the day that I surrendered and said fuck it and took that nap instead of trying to like fight the fucking system or because what system was I fighting? I don't know, babe. That day it's real. It could be so many things, right? But like today, I feel like life gave me limbo and I'm laying in that bitch. Life gave me limbo and I'm laying in bitch, okay? And I'm going to be comfortable in it. I'm not going to run from it. I feel like I don't have anything in my life genuinely that can distract me from how I feel right now, nor do I actually have the desire to run from it. Like, tell me, y'all, have y'all ever had a moment or have y'all had scenarios or seasons in your life where it's like you genuinely don't have the desire to fake the funk? You don't have the desire to fake productivity, fake being good, fake like I just don't have the desire for none of that shit. But also I realized that maybe the surrendering also is a choice and it could be a good choice too. And so right now I'm just surrendering to how I feel. I surrender to the fact that I realize that if I move, that's going to create the next ripple effect for at least the next 6 to 12 months, God willing, right? Because it doesn't mean we even promise the fucking months. We be hyper focused on that. I'd be killing myself. I'd be like, why am I so focused on the next 6 months, next 12 months, next 10 years if I don't even know if next day's promised? And so I'm sucking the fucking fun out of today and tomorrow and the next day because I'm so fucking focused on the 5 year goal. But it was in the moments where I got knocked on my ass and I couldn't do anything but sit with myself before I decided that it was like, you know what? I actually am achieving what the fuck I want to do. Like I already actively am doing it. Like I remember when I was a little girl, we never traveled. Let me give y'all some cute little tea. When I was a little girl, we never traveled, but I understood that because we had 5 kids on my parents' income and thinking y'all gonna cute do a cute Disney trip, babe. When I'm hearing people are spending like $7,000 fucking dollars to go to Disney, my parents were gonna do that. They was gonna put that shit towards some clothes, okay, on our back. They was gonna put that shit towards some beds and things like that. So when I was younger, I had this desire to just want to travel. I didn't give a fuck where we went. Okay, I was really one of them kids that they could have took us to the campgrounds, and I would have been lit. But Hey, that ain't that's a story for another time to figure that shit out, guys, right? But I remember when I was a kid, I was like, I want to move out of state. That was just like I had this desire that I wanted to move out of state because I was one of those children, like all my like I guess classmates and my friends, and just people in my life, they all would travel and go live in these different countries. Some of them moved back because I lived in a military town growing up. I lived in Fort Knox growing up. So growing up in a military town, a lot of people do come and go, but also Fort Knox is kind of like a what is it called? A retirement area, right? So a lot of times when people got stationed there, they about to be on their way out at that time. So I would hear about all these people's like travel stories, all the places that they would live, and the furthest place I would go was to Daisy, Georgia, to a family reunion. Okay, or I would go to I think it was Marietta, Mississippi, like in the middle of nowhere, Georgia, in the middle of nowhere, Mississippi, because that's where my family was. So if I ever did get to travel, those is the places we went. I never got to go see the beach until I literally took myself to the beach as an adult, right? Like certain things like that. And I think that was whenever I was that was 2014 spring break. I would never forget that year. Okay, hold on. Back to that. Okay. So I didn't get to travel when I was a kid. So one of my biggest aspirations when I was a child was to move out of state. And I want to say I didn't move out of state necessarily right away, but I definitely was moving. Okay. It was like little things that I didn't realize along the way. And I don't know how many of y'all have read The Alchemist, but if you have read The Alchemist, your journey, because like you learn in the story, your personal journey is never going to look the same. But it is going to relate or basically intertwine with others whenever you're hitting checkpoints. Like that's when you know, like those are the good omens, right? Sometimes bad omens, sometimes good omens, but it just means that you're in motion, right? Which is good. It's a motion party you cannot get in, okay? It's giving that type of vibe. And so after reading The Alchemist, I finally, it took like, I bought that shit last year. I just now got finished with that 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Let's be real clear, 2 weeks ago, right? But when I was reading it, it was because like I was digesting it in more of a like I genuinely was putting myself in the story. When I would read certain sections, I would like whenever the alchemist would say something, I'm like, let me highlight that. We're gonna ponder on that shit. We're gonna make that a journal prompt. We're gonna like, you know what I'm saying? I really took that motherfucking book in type vibes. And so, what time we at? We at 13 minutes. Okay, girl, lock in, lock in. I realized I was able to like basically apply some of the same stories and similar walks and similar journeys and similar eras that the little boy went through in the book to my own personal life. And even in the book, he went through a state of limbo, right? Especially whenever he was coming out the oasis. And he had just met his little yeah, his little fine shit. He had met her. I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to tell this. Maybe more kids, this is off topic. Maybe more kids would listen if we just like translate some of the books into their slang, right? So the alchemist, he had a little fine shit that he met in the oasis, right? But the oasis was in the middle of the desert, and it was not a place where a lot of people stayed. It was a lot of places. It's a place where people traveled through because they were in the midst of their journey. A lot of times, you could be at the end of your journey because in the book at that time, the young boy he was in the midst of his journey. I would say mid, right? He was in his mids, but then the person that he encountered, which was the other, that was the alchemist, not necessarily alchemist, but he was going to meet the alchemist. It was a young Englishman, right? Let me know. A young Englishman. I'm sorry, you guys. I hope that motherfucker don't fall because I hit it. But he met a young Englishman that was literally at the end and at the precipice of his ending of his personal journey, which was him becoming the alchemizer himself, right? So he met young boy, which the story is about, right? There on the caravan through the oasis, the guy, the alchemist or the pre-alchemist was going to meet the alchemist, and when he met him, he was like, "Nigga, all you got to do is alchemize, turn that shit to gold." And he's like, I've never practiced this. I've studied the masters, but I've never practiced the masters. Okay, let me stop being childish. So he studied the masters, but he never actually practiced what he learned, and this was his time, right? And when he did, alchemizing. Oh boy was in the midst of his journey, and so he still had some distractions, but he also had some good omens, right? And so he had some things that maybe it wasn't in this season that he would actually conquer, but he had some new things to add to his list. Like, for instance, he was going to make his main goal at that time in the book was to make it to the pyramids. And when he was in the oasis, they were in midst of a war, so it kind of slowed down the journey, which is why he had fell in love with his little Fatima right by the watering hole. I said, "Damn, Fatima, you over here breaking hearts." She say, "You are the man of the desert, and my traveling man's gonna come back for me." And she knew that. She manifested that. Okay, type shit, type shit. Okay, okay. So, boom, fast forward, he's about to leave. And at that moment, this is whenever he was kind of like, I mean, shit's good. I didn't do some things. I done made glass with the glass nigga. I done got robbed. I done learned Arabic. I done travel with the Englishmen. I done learned how to alchemize. I done read some books. Like, he's like, I done gave up my sheep. This nigga's like, listen, like, I'm big dog. She don't want a little puppy. She want a big dog. And you know what? Maybe I would be okay with just leaving and staying here because I don't even really give a fuck about the pyramids. I've done enough on this personal journey. I'm about to lock in on my little yeah. And Fatima's like, boy, go on, because if you really that man, if you really my man, if you really my man, and I'm sorry that if the Alchemist ever, the author of the Alchemist ever sees this review, I hope you know this is I really resonate with the story. This is not me making fun of the story. This is me resonating. So she's like, if you're my man, if you're my man, you're gonna have to lock the fuck in and get to the motherfucking pyramids and do what you said that you was gonna do. Period. And he was like this. I want to hang with a bad bitch. I want to hang with a bad bitch. Hey, okay. And so at that time, he said, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and lock in. I'm gonna go ahead and leave. And then he had to do. And the thing is, as soon as he decided that he was okay with that, like chapter not ending, but he's gonna go ahead and put that little pause on it. He gonna put that little pause on it, right? So when he put the pause on his journey with Fatima, that's when he went ahead and went to the pyramids. Which, when he got to the pyramids, that was not necessarily the destination. And I think in that time he learned that your personal journey is not one destination in a whole. It's a series of destination. It's a series of scenarios and opportunities along the way that you have amidst one of the bigger goals. And even when you get to the bigger goal, there's going to be an even bigger goal. Don't get held up in what you decided that you wanted to create and think of that that was the final destination. And that's really what I got out that book. I'm proud of myself. I finally got through a thought. Got through a thought, y'all. So I brought up The Alchemist and I brought up being in limbo when life gives you limbo because I realized that right now I'm sitting in my limbo. I'm going to get comfortable in my limbo and I'm just going to take y'all as a part of the journey. And maybe this is part of the journey. Was that a good omen or a bad omen? Did y'all see that? Let me see. No one else said hi or anything. So I guess we about to end here because I do need to get my life together. I need to get with the Lord about some things. And I got to do that in my own prayer closet. I can't do that with y'all. Okay. So I love you guys. I hope y'all have an amazing, beautiful ass Saturday. Make sure to reset Sunday. I might tie back in with y'all. I know I definitely got some adventures coming up in the next like 2 weeks. I might take y'all ass along with me for the 5K run next week. It's a 5K, 10K, but I'm running the 5K. And then I also might take y'all ass apart or with me whenever I go to the Strides and Tides, which is going to be a beach run with 4 run groups. We're going to see how that goes.